Hello. I am not in a tower on a beach, but Casey is in a tower on a beach. So that proves to you that I am not the same as Casey. You're different. We're different. Also, this game is 0% vibe coded. That isn't another difference. Also, particles aren't working. So there's that. Why aren't particles working? I do not know. So there's supposed to be dragon breath particles. That one worked. It's just these ones didn't work. Well, no, that one, it's like it didn't totally work. It's like a little bit. And right there when I get hit, you're supposed to see particles. What else generates particles? Wizard. So let's try. Sometimes it's good to just experiment. So those particles work. So path particles work. Beams work. How did I get this level into this situation? I guess it's pretty late in the level. So beams work. That's good news. So I'm basically picking up from the previous stream where we're trying to optimize away some stuff. So right now there was a loop that costs 0.22 milliseconds per frame on the overworld on this machine. So like on a slower machine, it's like 0.5 milliseconds or something probably. And it was just about, oh, that was bad. But that's probably a different problem. It was just about internally copying over position, orientation, and scale of every movable entity because for some entities we then modify that, and so we need to not be modifying the entity's official idea of where it is, right? So there's like these output position, output scale, output orientation. And then when we nudge entities and stuff like that, those are tweaks to those properties. And so we just need to do that only for objects for which it's relevant. And yeah. Are the particles done with compute shaders? Yeah. On my laptop, I'm trying to remember to take a note. Dude, I have so much work to do. Unbelievable. Okay. So what do I do now? I just fixed a bug right when I was starting the stream up. So that's good. But we got to figure out the particles. Without dragon particles, we don't have a video game. I mean, we do. But we want them back. Okay, so let's just look at we could step in, but let's just go look first. So when we go look at so we call do kill, and this probably generates some particles in here. I see sound effects. Probably not, because dude. Okay, so this is when goblins attack you. Okay. Do goblin attack visuals? Okay. That's in move transaction. Kill visuals. Okay. That's back here. Do gratuitous blood. Okay. Oh, God. I remember writing this function, dude. This is like one of the first functions I wrote in the game. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not too much. Okay. So spawn particle group at. Okay. So I know I edited this. So the group entity itself doesn't necessarily matter that much. Um, Although it might, I don't know. But really, we're instantiating the individual things here. Um, we're cloning the entity. Okay, we don't know which of these we're going through, but we're calling set pose. And set pose is supposed to do these things that I'm talking about. So we could look at that and just hopefully isn't there a render? Oh no, we're in game render. So hopefully we can look at this. We'll see. All right. What's the current time per frame and release? I don't remember. I'm looking at just stupid gameplay code that shouldn't take as much time as it is. So I'm not really that worried even about the total time. But we'll take a look at that after we finish debugging this. Okay, we don't want to break here yet. We want to load up the overworld. I'm going to go back to, whoop. I accidentally put on my robe and wizard hat. Okay. So, Monstros. Okay, so when I walk here, it should make a particle group. Let's see what happens. Boom. So first, let's check the position. I guess that's right. Let's just double check that, but it's unlikely that that changed. So we'll just look at the single move struct. Visual start 79,105, visual end. Right. So this is me getting killed at 79,105, and it's, you know, it's subtracting a little bit along the x-axis of where to put the particle system. That all looks correct to me. Okay, so we're just searching for the group that we're looking for. We did find it. Now, I don't know if we do this. False. Okay. So we don't actually need the group entity. For every element, we clone it. Oh, this is bad. Okay. So well, oh, maybe not. Okay, so this is just some point in space near the origin of the group, and it looks right. It's very close to the center, and it's up 0.7 units. All right, so let's just step into here. Dang it. Let's check our quaternion. How do you not know what R is? It's right there. Ah! I accidentally hit the wrong key. So annoying. All right. God, we got to do all this shit again. Please, Visual Studio, save me. All right, set pose. Position. Okay, that looks right. Orientation. That looks... Yeah, that looks good. Scale. 111. That looks fine. We set visual position. We set orientation. We set scale. Okay. And then we call has moved. Oh no, this is wrong. Lol, I'm only doing it in non-developer mode. When really, okay, I want an else in here. Lol. Okay, well. Easy clap. So this is because, you know, when we ship the release build of the game, we don't compile in any editing code. I guess we could leave this. Let's see. Well, it's wasteful to check. I don't know. It's a little silly. It's a little complicated for something so simple. Hey, look, there's particles. Hey, look, particles. Particles. I don't know why that did too. Anyway, that's great. So, like, the question is, have we done other damage to the game? And the answer is probably, and the question is, how do we tell? We can try some mirror aisles. Make sure that everything behaves correctly here. It looks okay so far. We don't want to do that. Don't get you baited into pushing it too far. Whoa, we had the camera in the wrong place for a. What happened there? It's like the level transition didn't go. I don't even know. What happened? Was it, did we play this one? I don't even know. No, we didn't. Did we play this one? Was it this the last one we played? I don't know what happened. I'm not watching Casey up in the tower with Prime. I watched them for like half an hour, but dude, I have work to do. What do you want me to do? I'm sitting here vibe coding really hard. Okay, we will hold on. There's a bug that I fixed in my other copy that we have to fix here. That I don't remember. Okay, we did fix it here. No, we didn't. That's not the right one. This is what we needed to fix. It is fixed. Okay. So we're gonna make a release build. We're gonna run a Benny test. We're gonna see if the game survives. Casey is mainstream now. Well, hell yeah. Wait, does that mean you think Primogen is mainstream? I mean, he does do programming content. Is programming mainstream? Define mainstream. Okay. We could put Queen Jack on the king with 5 on the 4. We could put 4 on the 5. Gold Jack on gold 10. 7, 6 on the 8. That doesn't help us that much. But getting blue 3, well, it does. Blue 3 does help us because we get these. Let's do that. We're defragmenting that scenario there. Opinions on modern C++. I stopped paying attention to C++ like 8 years ago at least. I don't know. I don't know why you would expect me to be interested at all. I do not use any features past C++ 11. Like that's when it just totally became completely for wackadoodles. Like it hasn't been on a reasonable trajectory of feature development for 14 years. That's longer than most people viewing this stream have been alive. In general, what do I think about functional programming? It's basically a waste of time. The reasons people think functional programming is good are kind of good reasons, right? That's how it always starts. Yes, it's good to minimize side effects if you can help it, right? For example, but it very quickly turns into just massively cargo culting everything. Like the thing that functional programmers don't seem to acknowledge is that the ideal program is not a program with zero side effects or zero state, zero global state, or whatever. Every problem has a natural amount of side effects or global state. And you want to perform that natural amount of side effects, okay? Global state, etc. You you don't want to pretend there's less global state than the natural amount because then your program turns into a giant fucking shitburger. And that's what they end up doing all the time because they don't want to admit that global state is actually okay. Okay, all right. We're doing a bit of a YOLO here. Um, where's 12? Ugh. This is not that great, but I didn't. Maybe I'm just not thinking that hard. I didn't see a lot of options. Couldn't hire anyone at your FP shop that wasn't academia people who have never had real world experience. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, dude. I know a lot of people like I went to Berkeley, right? So I know a lot of people who um uh came out of there. Most of them are slow as shit, dude. It's amazing. It's amazing anyone thinks they can program. Like it takes them so long to do basic stuff. All right, I think I lost here. Oh my god. 52 fails. All right, well, we're going to have to figure out what that's all about. We'll wait till it ends because if we stop prematurely, we don't get the report. It's okay if we ship a video game where 59 of the levels don't work at all, right? I mean, we could pretend we're Borderlands 4. Oh god. How did I mess that up? Did I see that Google finally admitted to censoring? I saw the statement that this occurred, but I don't know any of the details. Um, what I would say is like literally nobody's surprised. Like we all knew that, right? Life finds a way. The test is just playing back pre-recorded solutions. That's all it is. Doesn't Casey have a game developer day job? Yeah, but I think he's doing computer enhance with a lot of his time. And you could consider doing the tower stream something like, just sort of doing PR for computer enhance, right? Think about it. Wait, I didn't want to do that. That was a waste of time. Dude, we have no non-arcanas. That's why it feels so cramped in here. Crampton comes alive. I'm just going to YOLO again. I don't, you know. Oh, that wasn't even a YOLO. How nice. Oh, whoops, that was a YOLO. I thought this was a whole stack. Neither of those was true. Okay. Devastating. 92 fails. It's only 10% of the game. It's fine. All right. So, what did we do wrong? What's a simple level here? Heroes 310. Okay. Oh, transmute is probably... Oh, God. There we go. Right there. Any level with a druid is broken. Because everything's going to the origin. That is not how it works. Okay, well, there you go. That is our video game, everybody. Congratulations. Have I met the Zachtronics guys? I've met Zach Barth, yeah. A couple times. Okay, transmute. So to convert to rock, this is the part that's broken. We set the mesh, that appeared to work. Okay. Recalling set position on E dot position. Let's see what this originally was. Line 145 around, although that may have changed a little bit. Okay. Diff. Line 145. It used to be we would set... Oh! Okay, that's a goof. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry, never mind. I mean, that looks correct. Does set position not do the right thing? Maybe we undo the position after this. That's always a possibility. Oh my God, we literally don't set the position at all. Oops. Okay. Um, let's make sure that that works. What level was that? I think it was Heroes 310. Heroes 310. Remember that. So we'll do a Benny test. If set position didn't work, then I'm not surprised that 92 levels failed. Come on, game. Hey, it's working. All right. Now we are going to make a new release build and do another Benny test. And I can almost guarantee we will have fewer than 92 fails. But I mean, who really can say how many there will be? Certainly not I. Certainly not I. I mean, we are close to winning. I just don't want to screw it up. I just don't want to screw it up for everybody. I really want this too, but that eats our slot. We get two, we get one Arcana. Two Arcana is buried, so that doesn't help that much. And gold 3 is way down here, so it's not great. It's not great. Like, we're kind of weirdly blocked on the golds everywhere. All right, let's do this. Wait, I thought that was a whole stack. I keep getting debated by the colors. Ugh. If that was a whole stack, we would have done a little shuffle there. I mean, do I do a YOLO swag? I think I do. I'm going to do a YOLO swag again. Okay, we got our cards. And then we're going to do some other things. Okay. Great. Now we just have to financially recover from this. Look at all these scattered arcanas. They're unearthed arcanas. It's crazy. Like how is it this ordered and yet this chaotic? Do we check some visual tests like particles being rendered properly? No, it's just a pass fail based on gameplay state, but you will note that because we are rendering, we will notice if there's a graphics crash or an assertion, right? So we are testing the game pretty thoroughly, but no, there's no like AI that knows how particles look or whatever. All right, 0 fails so far. Much better. You know, if you want to succeed in the games industry, then if you have a function that's called set position, it's actually very helpful if that function sets the position. I know that this is a very advanced concept. I apologize for such advanced material. But it's a hard industry. You gotta learn any way you can, right? You can tell people you learned something from my stream. You learned about setting the position. All right, we're almost. This was crazy how it looked so ordered and yet it was so nutballs. Okay, we could put 3 on the 4 here. I actually don't love that. I want to get blue 6 going. I want to do that. Now we're in business. Okay. Now we are winning. Okay. Boom. Fails 5. That's approximately on target. It might be a little high. We'll see how it comes out on the next episode of General Hospital. Look at this. We have red 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen. But the 9 and the 8 are kind of getting in our way. But we could leave the queen for later. The other thing we see is these 2s that are pinned under this queen. This queen could go on this jack. 15 and 8, 15 on 16. But this 5 is annoying. 8 on this 7. But this 3 is annoying. So I don't know. We're not going to worry about this yet. This looks hard. I think the route here is just to get an extra slot. However, it is worth noting that if we could go king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7 if we get down to this king, and the 1 will pop off if this 0 pops off. So that's some reasons to keep an eye on this. But also we got 2 2s over here that I didn't even take a look at. Now the thing about this is if we want these, which we do, it means we're going to have to put all this on the 6, maybe. Problem is this 9 isn't very good to us right now. So if I throw the 7 on the 8, it gets us gold 7. But gold 7 is not really worth that much. It's just we could throw it in the middle and get the 0 by putting the green 7 on green 8. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm going to do this for now. And then I think I'm going to flip all this way because 14 is not super good. All right. Then we have 3, 4, which I think we're going to take 6 Arcana. And then we'll put the 7 on there. All right. So that gives us a little bit of win. And then this is retrograde now. And so is that. So that's kind of okay. We can get 21 by putting 4 in the hole, putting all this on 10. 21 goes. And then if we found somewhere for the 5, 4, 16 can go on the 17, and then 20 will go. But the 5, 4 it's not easy. Not easy. Hey, we finished. 10 levels failed. I think that's about right. So we could check this in, is what we're saying. So what we've been doing, of course, is go down here. So it looks like we're taking about 10 milliseconds, although we'll check that with the other timer. We're in simulate, and we were in no, where were we? What was I even doing? It was one of the things in, oh, it was in simulate cosmetic only, which is different. We were here. So we were in like, well, let's go look. I'll tell you what we had. So it was it in B2 or C? I guess I deleted the offensive code because there's not a no check-in. But one of the things in here, one of these early ones, was taking 0.2 something, 0.22 milliseconds. There were two main offenders. There was that one, whatever we just optimized, and I1, which almost takes as much. So we could look at that, but we have to comment some stuff before we can check anything in. So I don't really know. It's probably update freezer requirements that's taking all the time. We could put a thing in there just to. Where is that? Oh, that probably, no, that's probably not taking any time. Ocean ripples? I don't even know. Nexus views? I don't feel like any of these. So let's just put zones in all of them. Is that not in render? It's just in ocean. I literally don't know. Like this doesn't seem like it should take any time, but I could be wrong. Freezer requirements. That's the thing that draws the arrow. Like when you want to unlock something and it's like, you got to do this level over here. That's what that is. Okay. That comment is not worth much. All right. Anyway, but I think the task right now is to take the W And then we can look at other stuff. The reason we started looking at simulate cosmetic only things, if you check the VOD last night, is that it was taking 1.2 milliseconds or something. And so we've now got it down by half. It used to be way more expensive than simulate, and now it's a little less expensive than simulate. So, but the next thing to do here is probably to hit this, right? Cosmetic only I1. And yeah, we need to know what that is. While that's compiling, I'm going to get a protein because I've been sitting here eating crackers. And another drink. Does anyone have technical questions? You learn that storing every entity in its own text file is a good way to avoid conflicts in a version control environment. That is true. However, there are some nuances. It's not just the fact that they're text. There's some additional constraints, by the way. All right, back in a sec. Okay. It's still not done compiling. Wait. Okay. Advice I gave when you asked about conference speaking a while back. Your talks went well. Okay, yeah, I remember. I'm glad it went well. Good job. Okay. Cosmetic only I1. Update all ocean ripples. Really? That's what's taking all the time. We're not going to worry about that yet because we have to take the W on what we've done so far. We might not even be able to check in though, because there was a check-in going on that breaks the game, and I don't want to like update. It's probably still broken. I don't know. I don't know what. Let me see if anyone's replied to my email about this. Does the game have an event system? No. I mean what do you mean? Like an event system is such a simple thing. Like there's a queue, you say that something happened and it's in some data structure, you say that thing X happened. Like how does that even help you make a video game at all? Like how it's so weird that like people think stuff like that matter. Like what is the event system supposed to do? Is my question. Okay, 1 second. I got an Amazon notification that a book got delivered and it is raining outside. So I might need to save the book from sogginess. Back in a sec. I need to find my keys. I don't know where I put them even. Where's my keys? Do you compress all your game data? Yes. Do you stream it as the game goes on, or do you just preload everything at startup? It depends on what kind of data and what the target platform is. Did you have to do something special to eliminate all 0 pixels on sprites in Braid? We don't eliminate all 0 pixels, but we try to identify, like we basically export Photoshop layers and then try to identify if we can chop it up into a small number of rectangles to minimize the number of 0 pixels, and then we draw those rectangles. All right, got the book and it wasn't even soggy. How do you store a platform or renderer specific state with the gameplay elements? If you supported rendering with OpenGL and DirectX some sort of texture handle, how do you associate that with the entity the texture is for? Well, we have our own texture data structure, right? That has the things that our game cares about. And then, somewhere on there, there will be some platform specific data, right? Like the texture handle or whatever. Um, but like the thing that most of the game looks at is not that, right? It's the data structure that we want. Will the final license allow it to embed the compiler together with the game distribution? Yes. Yes, it will. Some dude published on Reddit their event system library written in Rust. Okay, A, no surprise whatsoever. B, again, I don't know how that's a library. I mean, I do. You can make anything incredibly complicated if you want to, right? But like again, I don't know what is the purpose of that. And here's the thing is when I was in college, I would have thought an event system was a really cool thing or whatever. But in hindsight, it's like, oh, this is just one of these weird ideas that people use to, I don't know, just like when people get excited about ideas that are not necessarily related to the solution to the problem, they just want to apply them in code. It's like one of those. Like we have one event system and it's the input system that we ship to everybody with the compiler. Like, oh, some keystrokes happened in order. They're in an array somewhere. You can look at the array if you want. Like that's it. That's all it is. Okay. I kind of don't want to update, which makes me sad. Because there's a crash, there's problems. So we're not going to take the W. We like taking W's here on this channel. We're not going to take the W yet. How do you handle all the states in your game? Again, I'm not sure what you're thinking of when you say that. So do you want to be more specific about what do you mean by all the states? I mean, there's an incredible amount of state, right? There's like gigabytes of state. So like what do you mean is the question. And then if you get more specific, I can give you a specific answer. Okay. We are nevertheless though going to comment the no check-ins. Okay. What book did I order? It's a book that chat would go ape shit about, so I'm not going to say. What would you do if you had many scenarios that need to be executed over time? Like 1, do something, 2, pause, 3, wait for sound to complete, 4, do something, 5, execute a subroutine. I mean, that's like serial code is the very simplest kind of code. I would just write the code. Like, I'm kind of not sure what the problem is supposed to be. Like, why can't you just write the code that does those things sequentially if you want to do those things sequentially? Or do you not mean that they're sequential? Am I misunderstanding the question? You mean it had to be interrupted over many frames and schedule the action? So put those things in a thread. It's fine. Notice that I have an entity manager in each entity, and sometimes you pull it from a context as well. Is they the same? Yeah, so here's the thing. The pattern of storing the pointer. So each entity has a pointer back to the entity manager in which it was created. And that's convenient sometimes, but that's a pattern that goes back to the witness. And honestly, it is probably unnecessary now. Probably it's 8 bytes that we just don't need to spend because we could get it from the context, right? Um, but early in this project, we did not have the entity manager in the context. So it wasn't true at that time. And at this time, it just, you know, deleting that pointer and refactoring all the code and stuff, it's probably just not worth it. It's such a small thing. We could look at it next game, making that change, you know, like at some point you just need to go downhill and finish the game. Without using events, if you want a function to be called when some variable changes, are you just checking every frame to see if the variable has changed? Well, okay. This is a thing that you have to decide. Is it okay to check every frame, or do you somehow need to know sooner than that when a variable changes, right? If it's inside the frame, when inside the frame does it happen? It cannot happen at a random time because your program will just crash horribly if you do that, right? So when do you respond to this and so forth? And by the way, why would you write code like that? If you didn't start a priori with a system where the abstraction is this thing magically runs when a variable changes, right? If that's not your starting assumption, why would you write code like that? Okay. I forgot what I was going to say in part 2 of this comment. Mm, Okay. What else? Okay. Actually, this probably doesn't need to happen. I did this in an attempt to fix a bug, and it did not fix that bug. So let's see. Let's see if that breaks something. Do I own any guns? Yes. So I got out of the closet the TS-12 because I still have never shot it. And I loaded it up with some 12 gauge snap caps and did some practice. So we might take that to the range soon. Actually, use the TS-12. We actually threw an EOTech on it finally, so I could aim. Aiming is good. Okay. So far it seems fine. Let's go back to where the monstros were. Whoops. This is all good. They're turning correctly. Every time I do the Benny test, it marks all the levels as unlocked and visited, so I need to figure that out. Maybe we'll finally do that on this stream. Okay. That's not what we want to do. So this seems fine. This seems fine. That graphics artifact is happening in game. It's just because that screen is not been arted yet. It's about to get real art, and so that will go away. It's just part of game development. All right, so I'm going to say that this doesn't, right? Um, why is this even necessary? It may not be. Like, this is one of the first things we did. And if it's not necessary, then why have it? Oh, no, it probably is necessary. Maybe. Maybe not. I could put a note that we're not sure if it's necessary. It looks fine, but I'm going to be a little bit paranoid and leave it in with a cleanup note. Um, okay. Do we have other no check-ins? Oh, let me tell you about something I did that would have been fun to do on stream. So we're doing this thing. The loop that I was trying to get rid of was about setting these output properties on every entity. And specifically that had to happen because this visual position value was not necessarily being set, right? Otherwise, because we're trying to remove a thing that sets it for everybody every frame, right? So the thing is, there were lots of people who assign it manually. And we don't have an event system to tell us when the variable changes. So uh, last night I was up and I was like, well, what am I going to do? I have to correctly audit the code for everybody who sets this entity field visual position. And in every one of those cases, we want to call this function that also sets output position to the same value, right? And this kind of use case is why some of these really annoying people in the old days who decided what object oriented is made up some really pathological ideas like, oh, you should never set a member variable directly. There should always be getters and setters because you never know. You might write a giant program where people are modifying this directly. And then you need something else to happen in that case, and then you're screwed. So that's why every single thing has to be a getter and setter, right? Which that drove me nuts when I saw that when I was young. I was like, these people are idiots, right? So this is exactly that case where you would have a getter and setter. And instead of that, here's what I did. We did some do custom code checking. And what the custom code checking does is it searches through our code for an assignment operator that assigns to entity.visualPosition. And anytime in the code, if you do that, I report an error unless it's in one of these greenlit functions, right? I demoed the capability of this years ago in one of the early compiler demos. Um, but this is sort of one of the first times um, when I actually used it for a very serious purpose. Like this saved me probably days of agony, right? And I wrote it in 15 minutes. Why can't you just directly set the damn thing? Because people who are not very good programmers are telling you you can't. That's why. If I'm a little distracted, it's because one of our playtesters is playing the game. I can see it. He's streaming it from one of our computers, and I'm watching him play on the monitor behind me. Wait, what just happened? That was weird. Oh God. Okay, that fast travel is broken. Lol. Okay, let's fix that right now. So editing mistake. Editing mistake. Uh so here, see this? There's water under it, so you just drown to death. Lol. It looks like also maybe there's a mistake here. I guess he doesn't have that entity's like in the wrong place. All right, we deleted it. Okay. What did I end up using for the gameplay streaming? We are using Parsec right now. Well, there's no ripples in the level. Okay. So why? I mean, we're in debug build right now. Um, was it I1? Yeah, update all ocean ripples. Like, why is that slow? It's like, of course, it doesn't take a millisecond in release build, but it does take some time. Okay, wait, we had one more no check-in. Okay. Cool. Let's play a little cards before we move on. We're going to take a 5-minute Pomodoro. How much do game testers charge an hour these days? I don't know. Do you ever hire junior level programmers to work at the company? I mean, we have had interns, and that sometimes goes okay and sometimes doesn't go okay. We kind of can't really hire people who are junior who don't show exceptional talent. We did just hire someone just out of college, but that's because he was an intern for us and he did a really good job. So it was like, oh, okay, this guy can deal. So yeah, we hired him, but that is unusual. Um, you know, usually usually no. Okay, I mean, this isn't much of a break. I'm staring at numbers, like grinding them in my head. Blue 4 would go away. It's interesting, I guess. Gold 3. What do we not see in here? We could throw 8 in the middle, 15 on the 14, queen on the jack, pop our twos, get 3, 4, right? So we'd be up to green 5, which is under this. But we've got this green 8. I guess we could put gold 7 in the middle, right? So we've got gold 7, which 8 and 6. So that kind of sucks. Unless we get 21, which we could do. We could put 4 in the middle, 9, 8, 7, 6 on the 10. Um, red 4 up, 21 pops. 17 goes nowhere, so then we're dead. Or no, 4 on the 5. 17 up, king on the queen. And then we lose our slot, but we have 17. We could swap that for 4, 5. And then we could put that on the 8. Let's try that, dude. YOLO swag. YOLO swag. This is not clearing some of the things that we want to clear, but that's how this game be sometimes. All right, so I was saying, I was saying 17 on the 16, but I thought we were going to have another card clear. What did I do wrong? Okay, we could put this on the 10 and put the 4. So now we have a one bagger here, right? Um, so we could do 17 on the 16, or 17 up, 7 in the hole, green 7 on green 8, 0 pops, 5, 4 on the 3, 17 on 16. Now the problem with that is it puts 7 on the 8, which makes it hard to do something that we wanted to do. We wanted this jack free, but I don't know, right? Maybe we can't do that plan now because we did the other plan. Yeah, let's do this. Because we might be able to go somewhere from there. All right. Boom. Boom. Or maybe not, though. So the problem is, even though 4 would pop off, we have to lift a card to get to it, and that's an issue. How do you handle 2 entities trying to move into the same square? Yeah, we made a 5-hour video about that, dude. You can look it up on YouTube. We explained it in great detail. Somebody already linked it earlier this stream, in fact. I saw the link go by. What I don't see is what to do here. Did I lose again? Is that where we're at? Did I move too hastily? It is quite possible that that is what has transpired. I don't see a lot of available maneuvers. I was explaining how I spent 15 minutes to fix all the places. Well, fixing the places took a little longer. It probably took an hour or 90 minutes, but finding all the writing the code to find all the places took 15 minutes. Does it also address situations where you do some mem copy to a pointer and are changing that property? I did not do that case because I happen to know that there's only one place in this system where that happens. So our undo system definitely does that. It definitely just writes over the memory of these properties. But after we do that to an entity, we have a standard hook that we call. And I just knew that I can go put things in that hook. But yeah, so if you imagine some other situation where you didn't know that and you needed to detect that case, you could detect if I mean, it would be harder. It would definitely be harder than what I did, but you could probably do it in most cases. I mean, okay, what's trivial is detecting if someone explicitly takes the address of this thing, right? But for our serialization system, what happens is you just have the pointer to the entity and a bunch of metadata, and some people write to the value. And for that kind of a thing, if you wanted to detect that, that's more like a debugger data breakpoint or something. Because there's like no way to know statically from the program text that that is happening. But also, notably, getter setters would not help you there either. Like, if you have a system that does that, which we do, it goes around all your getter setters anyway. So the object oriented people are just sad at that point, right? Okay, so since we lost at cards, update all ocean ripples. What is that? I mean, it looks like I wrote this, but it doesn't. I did not write this fucking comment. So maybe somebody refactored some code that I wrote? So let's look. So do we have, I looked for ripples, but okay. Maybe something weird is happening to make a lot of weird splashes or something. So let's take a look. We're going to do the magical Control Alt Shift G. All right. So let's first make sure it's still taking that much time. Should be taking like 1 millisecond in debug build. Yeah. Okay. Update all ocean ripples. So we're going to Control Alt Shift G. This is loading the active gameplay state. And we're going to check, do we have ripples there? No. Do we have, what were the other ones? Temporary splash or turbulence? Temporary splash. No. Turbulence. No. So where is all the time being spent? It's got to be here. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is. Okay, let's validate this. Just, it's cheap to keep building and running the debug build. So we're going to make sure that that's where the time is going, and we're just going to drill down into it. How do you handle versioning and backups for art assets? They're just in source control with all our code. Our source control repository is like 300 gigs or 200 gigs, something. Subversion keeps a backup copy, so it's basically 2x. So we've probably got like 150 gigs of source data, etc. Okay. I totally forgot in the process of answering that question. Oh yeah, we're just validating that we understand what's happening. So do one frame, cosmetic only things, I1, ocean ripples, single ocean ripples. And you can see, yes, the time is being spent in there. So now, where in here is it? Is it in... Is it in A or B? That is the question. Or is it evenly split? Or is something else going on? We're doing something expensive. I tell you what. Oh, we declare state in here and didn't have access to it once I scoped it out. All right. Is that one of the reasons why you don't use GitHub? Why would a private entity that has its own source code, that is its most valuable asset, why would that entity upload their fucking source code to a public website every day? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, literally, what are people thinking? You can do private repos. That does not change anything that I just said. Oh, it's ostensibly private. Don't you feel good? No. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, if you're just a programming hobbyist and you're like, man, I just want to share code with people, great. GitHub's good for that, right? Totally fine. Okay, so single ripples B. We're going over every square. What is squares? Wait, what? River tile ripples. What is going on? What is this even doing? I mean, I guess I wrote it. I guess I wrote this. It sure feels like I wrote this. But like, is this old? Is this... It looks new. I mean, are we just iterating over every square, doing a for loop that does nothing? Let's let's look. We might be. This might literally be go to every ocean square in the entire level. In which case, I'm not that surprised if it's slow. Where is this? It's just in source. What is this for? Don't run this if the ocean map is not visible. Thanks, Einstein. Um, I mean, that was me writing that comment, but square splashes. I guess it's got a bunch of splashes. What? I feel like maybe this is how I was doing water a really long time ago. But like it maybe doesn't do anything now. let's do a blame on this. Let's blame. I guarantee it was me who wrote most of this code. The question that I have is, how long ago was it? Was it before the new ocean stuff? Okay, 43604. December 2024. That's kind of recent. That's like when we were doing ocean experimentation last year. I feel like maybe we just don't render this anymore. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hook up a thing where we can toggle this and we'll verify that it makes no difference at all to visuals. Um, is it, wait, it's keymap colon developer. We changed this. Okay. Ocean ripples disabled equals not ocean ripples disabled. Game report t print ripples disabled. I can't type it all right now. Whatever. All right. So, oops. It's lowercase. I guess. Didn't I have a stream of this too, the oceans and water stuff with Casey? Yes, we discussed it before we went and implemented this. Okay, let's bind a key. We're going to go out here to where there's river. And we're going to bind a key. Um, how about the equal sign? Wait, do we already have equals? I don't know. Equal sign is going to be, what did we call it? Toggle ocean ripples. All right. Okay, that didn't do anything. Why not? Let's do something really like the U key. Disabled true, disabled false, disabled. I see no difference. Oh, wait. No, they are. It's a very small difference. And see, now it looks goofy because they're not moving, but it might look fine if they weren't there. Okay. Well, I will send an email about this. Okay. I'm going to send the email on my laptop where you can't see, but I will generally narrate what I'm typing. As I type it. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I'm replying to the beta tester. Uh, yeah, I actually saw you trying to play this. Sorry, the floor is just missing below the teleporter and you fall in and drown. I would ship the fix right now, but someone introduced other things that destabilized the game. So, okay. All right. And now I'm replying to another email that's about some design changes that we made today. With all of these, we need to do the real version of the thing before too long. But right now, I want to establish how many shapes of these we need. There are other ones in other strange situations, like floating in the air in a stack of objects, etc. Okay. All right. So book has been delivered. Okay. Okay, starting the email thread, the foretold in prophecy. CCing this programmer, this programmer, I guess. Art team guy, art team guy. Maybe that's enough. Let's see. Ocean ripples. Last December, when we started prototyping new water stuff, I made this ocean ripples file that makes some of the um, displacement map looking particles flow around the rivers. However, right now this is taking 0.25 milliseconds on a fast machine on the overworld, and I would like to cut that way down. At first, I wasn't sure if this still did anything, but upon putting in a hack, I can see that it is contributing displacement to the rivers uh, in a semi-random way. Now, I think we still need to go back to the rivers and do another pass before they look really good. There are also some discontinuities we should take care of in flowing stuff in rivers that have been diverted. And oh yeah, one of the conversations I wanted to have soon is that we added polarity to rivers. So we want to draw that in some way, like, for example, the foam on them swirls clockwise or counterclockwise. So that would need a pass anyway. But here the question is, should I delete ocean ripples because we want displacement to be more artist controlled in the same way the color map, the scrolling color map on the river is, or uh, should I leave it in there and figure out how to optimize question mark? Okay, so that is that. So that is progress. It's not quite as satisfying because um, we didn't actually make the number go down. But I reminded myself of WTF is going on, and that's useful. The Project Zomboid guys didn't back up and their PC got stolen. They had one PC. They didn't use version control or have backups? Like what? Like your hard drive can just explode at any moment, right? People know this. Okay. I think that might be tonight's stream. We made success, but we cannot take the W because the build is broken, as far as I know. Uh, but that's cool. We might stream a little more later tonight, like at 10 p.m. once I get back from having fun dancing. And we might then start dealing. So the other big thing, the biggest item now is this update move transactions, which in release build is merely like zero point 0.6 milliseconds, but that's still a lot. And that is doing a similar thing to what we've been optimizing out, which is it is iterating over all the moving entities, right? And so I could show you that really fast. We looked at it on a previous stream briefly, but it's doing this to like track support stuff and whatever. And we just want to have a different way of doing that we don't have to visit all the entities in the world, because this particular thing is just for interpolating entities to like fix slop, and we could do that a different way. We could do that a different way. Where can you find videos on shader architecture organization, like layering shaders or combining shaders? I don't know. It's mostly just programming to me. I don't know that you need to know anything specific. All right, let's raid the tower stream. They can go. You can watch some vibing, right? See you guys, and have a good night.